Welcome to Jog Falls, a major attraction in Karnataka. How was the first sight of the four streams? When we went there, what we saw was Raja veiled in fog, Roarer veiled in fog, Rocket clear, Rani clear. We visited Jog Fall on July 25th and 26th of 2026. We waited for having a clear view of all the four streams, but it was like a hide and seek game. One stream was hiding, other was clear, and sometimes two were hiding, two were clear. Ultimately, the joke falls realized that we
तुझा
are
पण
patiently
काढत्या
waiting, and then it dropped the fog curtain altogether, and we could see Raja, Roarer, Rocket, Rani clearly. We were from one family, five members, three senior citizens, and two adults, and we five traveled together from Goa to Jog Falls. Best time to visit Jog Falls. The best time to visit the Jog Falls is during the monsoon season from July to September, when heavy rains give their full roaring power to the four streams of waterfalls Raja, Roarer, Rocket, and Rani. We were there on July 25th and 26th. There was a massive water flow in the streams, and there were also the moving patches of thick fog blanketing the tall view of the waterfalls every now and then. It was a more interesting experience than having a full view of the waterfalls all the time. Driving through thick fog, we went by car from Goa to Jog Falls with a brief stopover at Gokarna. The journey was magical and feast to eyes, with scenic forest roads, winding western ghats, and thick fog. We faced sharp hairpins and low visibility problem. At every turn, our driver was sounding horn to caution the approaching vehicles from the front. The yellow fog lamps were kept on. From thick blanket of fog, road was barely visible but was quickly disappearing into fog as we could look back at the next turn of the road. The foggy weather reminded us a philosophical song written by Sahir Ludhianvi for Hindi movie Dhund. I shall tell the theme of the song. Human life is short, unpredictable journey. संसार की हर शय का इतना ही फसाना है, एक धुंध से आना है, एक धुंध में जाना है. Everybody in this world has the same short story to come from fog and to return back to fog. ये राह कहाँ से है, ये राह कहाँ तक है, ये राज कोई राही समझा है न जाना है. From where this path has started and where it leads to, this secret traveler neither understands nor knows.
की हर शय का इतना ही फसाना है, एक धुंध से आना है, एक धुंध में जाना है। ये राह कहाँ से है, ये राह कहाँ तक है, ये राज कोई राही समझा है न जाना है। संसार की हर शय का कितना ही फसाना है, एक धुंध से आना है, एक धुंध में जाना है। एक पल की पलक पर है ठहरी हुई ये दुनिया, एक पल के झपकने तक हर खेल सुहाना है। संसार की हर शय का इतना ही फसाना है, एक धुंध से आना है, एक धुंध में जाना है। क्या जाने कोई किस पर, किस मोड़ पे क्या बीते, इस राह में ऐ राही हर मोड़ बहाना है। संसार की हर शय का इतना ही फसाना है, एक धुंध से आना है, एक धुंध में जाना है। ला 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 ला
My previous visit in 1966, I had been to Jog Falls with the school trip. That view was still in my memory. At that time, there was just a fencing at the viewpoint. There was no viewing gallery as we saw it this time. In 1966, there was a winch operated funicular for operational maintenance, movement of staff, and occasionally accommodating visitors. I remember the better views of waterfalls and the noise of falling water while descending as the funicular moved towards the hydroelectric power station. At around 1000 feet diagonal distance below the viewpoint. In 1966, we went there through a contracted state transport bus. We saw the falls, took the funicular ride, saw the hydroelectric power station, and returned to the bus. We didn't stay there. Back in the decade of 60s, the security and public access rules surrounding the historical and industrial installations like the dam or hydroelectric power plant were considerably more relaxed compared to the strict, heavily regulated protocols enforced today. I was able to walk on the dam of Tungabhadra River, that is TB Dam at Hospet, the basement of Gol Gumbaz in Vijaypura, and climbing the spiral staircases at Qutub Minar, Delhi, while humming the words of Tere Ghar Ke Samne song, Dil Ka Bhaur Kare Pukar, Pyar Ka Raag Suno. All those accesses having closed later considering the safety and security reasons. Jog Falls as we saw it. What exists at Jog Falls today remains purely a daytime natural viewing experience due to the environmental restrictions to protect the wildlife reserve and maintenance challenges during monsoon when the tourists throng the place. The entertainment attractions are hardly any. However, we saw a lot of construction activities were going on near the KSTDC Hotel Mayura Gersopa where we stayed. It was understood that the construction was the part of the master development project initiated by the Karnataka Tourism Development and the Jog Development Authority JDA to upgrade Jog Falls into a world class destination. There is a plan to add ropeway, a luxury hotel with 80 keys, musical fountains, entrance plaza, etc. The construction may take one more year to complete. However, the winch operated funicular and visit to hydroelectric power station would not be allowed for the tourist even after the redevelopment. What I saw in 2026 was less than what I saw 60 years ago in 1966, except the number of visitors. There were more visitors crowded this time. We could have seen a few more attractions which are open for public, but the majestic view of the Jog Falls virtually glued us to the viewing gallery. We remained there until the evening and returned to our hotel. Our next visit. We wish to revisit Jog Falls after completion of the redevelopment work. We shall stay a little longer. Besides the tourist destinations, we also look forward to watch a video showing the beautiful views of the Jog Falls in different seasons. The reservoirs of Linganmakki and Garsappa and the engineering marvel of expanded Sharavati hydroelectric project. Such video will be informative to the tourists to get an exposure of how the potential energy of water at elevation has been converted into mechanical energy and then finally to electrical energy. Why we wish to revisit the place is because the views of Jog Falls have a mesmerizing effect and we wish to get that heavenly experience again. An uninterrupted vertical plunge viewed from a cliff edge like the Jog Falls is also available at one more place in India, and that is in Meghalaya, and the waterfall is known as No Kalelikai Falls that has a direct vertical plunge of 1115 feet, that is 340 meters. There is one also in North America that is about 979 meters, Yosemite, California, and another one in South America, 739 meters, Angel Falls, Venezuela. The one in Meghalaya is in my bucket list, and I wish to see it before I revisit Jog Falls so that I can draw a comparison. I shall now describe the other attractions at Jog Falls which are open for tourists, but we did not see them this time. British Bungalow Point. This is a viewpoint located on the opposite side of the George from the main KSTDC Mayura complex. It is accessible by road. You have to cross the Sharavati River bridge towards the Uttar Kannada side, that is Siddhapur Taluka, and follow signs of the PWD inspection bungalow, which is popularly known as the British bungalow. It is approximately a 10-minute drive from the main tourist area. Sharavati Adventure Camp, Jungle Lodges and Resorts. It is run by the government of Karnataka. This ecotourism resort is tucked onto the slopes of a hillock overlooking the reservoir waters, close to Jog Falls and the Talakalale Linganavakki backwater region. It offers eco cottages with scenic views of the surrounding hills and water, along with the activities like kayaking, boating, coracle rides on the backwaters. The Linganmakki Dam is built across the Sharavati River and serves as a primary reservoir for the Sharavati hydroelectric project. It is located near Kargal village in the Sagar Taluka of Shivamogga district, Karnataka. Honne Maradu. Honne Maradu is a small village located on the hills that overlook the Linganmakki Reservoir. Honne Maradu derived its name from the honne tree. However, the literal meaning of Honne Maradu is golden lake. It looks golden during the sunset. A route map of attractions at and around Jog Falls. The following outline would be useful to plan the next visit. Linganmakki Dam Viewpoint is the first one, followed by Talakalale Reservoir Viewpoint, then Jog Falls Top Viewpoint, that's the Mayuri Hotel, the main viewing gallery, then Mahatma Gandhi Hydroelectric Plant, not accessible to tourists, Sharavati Hydroelectric Generating Station, not accessible to tourists, and the sixth one, Garsappa Dam and Hydroelectric Plant, that's the Sharavati Tail Race, not accessible to tourists. This is the brief outline where one could go, he can go, or she can go, but which are not accessible, maybe they remain inaccessible even in future. Portrait view and visualization. The full portrait view of Jog Falls during monsoon is the best tourist attraction. The true physical sequence left to right is as follows. Far left, that's Raja, the king, drops completely straight down in a single thick, magnificent column without hitting the cliffside rocks. Immediately left center is the roarer, rushes out of a lower rocky crevice right next to Raja, hitting a stone basin with a booming noise. Right center, that's the rocket, shoots out from a higher narrow opening at a intense speed, breaking into an arc of misty high velocity jet sprays. Far right, Rani, the queen, glides fluidly and quietly down the counter of the slopes in the wilder, gentler, and more delicate sheet of foam. My visualizations. My first visualization is of Ganga descending on earth from heaven. Mythological depiction of Ganga descending on earth from heaven is shown in the picture. My second visualization is of a continuous pouring of milk from a never emptying pot, an Akshay Patra, that's the source, or garlands of white flowers lowered from above. The two pictures are shown. My third visualization is of natural formation of a place of worship similar to the modern day Sagrada Familia Basilica in Barcelona, Spain. The picture of Sagrada is shown. My fourth visualization is the imagination of Jog Falls as a slim maiden in white attire, covering her face in veil of fog, periodically unveiling her beauty to remind us of Mere Huzur. रुख से जरा नकाब उठा दो मेरे हुजूर जलवा फिर एक बार दिखा दो मेरे हुजूर. Jog Falls and around Jog Falls. One may spend hours watching the waterfalls from the viewing gallery, admiring the changes in ambience, particularly the moving veil of fog blocking the views of waterfalls. A tourist sees the Jog Falls from the viewpoint gallery near Mayuri Hotel and from British Bungalow, often referred to locally as PWD Inspection Bungalow. The tourist may then visit Linganmakki Dam and Honne Maradu, that is 10 kilometers from Linganmakki Dam. The tourist may visit the twin heritage towns of Ikkeri and Keladi for the Aghoreshwara temple and Rameshwara temple, respectively. Shravati Hydroelectric Complex. Jog Falls offer pleasant views of descending streams of water. There are also streams of descending water that flow in penstocks and tunnels and go directly to water turbines. Because the water flows in the penstocks and tunnels, it is not visible. This out of sight water is doing a lot of useful work under the name of Sharavati Hydroelectric Complex. The Sharavati Hydroelectric Complex continues to play an important role in meeting the electrical power of Karnataka. I wish to highlight the features of Sharavati Hydroelectric Complex from the inception to present and to the future development. Let us start from Jog Falls, though it may sound a repetition. Jog Falls. Jog comes from the local Kannada word for waterfall. The waterfalls created where the Sharavati river plunges 253 meters, that is 830 feet, down a steep canyon in four cascades: Raja, Roarer, Rocket, and Rani, a major natural landmark and tourist attraction. It is also called the Sharavati Waterfalls. Gersappa, a historic town valley located downstream. During British rule, the Jog Falls itself was also called Gersappa Falls. Today, it also refers to the Gersappa Dam built downstream of the major power plants to act as a tail-race reservoir and generate an additional of 240 megawatt using Francis mixed flow water turbines of power before the river empties into the sea. Mahatma Gandhi Hydroelectric Project, MHHEP, the first power station built in the complex, commissioned in 1948, originally called the Mysore Jog Hydroelectric Scheme or Krishna Rajendra Project. It sits near the George below the Jog Falls with a 120 megawatt capacity. There was a dam called Hirebhaskara Dam which was feeding water to Mahatma Gandhi Hydroelectric Project. The dam itself got later submerged in Linganmakki Reservoir. Linganmakki Dam. It is the main storage dam built across the Sharavati River in 1964. Located upstream of the falls, this 2.4 kilometer long dam creates a reservoir holding capacity of 150 TMC feet of water, which feeds all downstream hydroelectric power units. Sharavati Hydroelectric Project SHEP. It is the second and massive flagship power complex built downstream in 1965. It consists of 10 major units generating 1035 megawatt of power, turning the Sharavati River Valley into Karnataka's primary hydel power generator. Sharavati. Sharavati is a river originating at Ambotirtha in the Western Ghats. This short 128-kilometer west flowing river drops steeply over a high cliff face, providing one of the highest hydroelectric potentials per kilometer in Asia. Water from Linganmakki flows through a major power channel into a balancing reservoir at Talakalale, then travels through giant pressure tunnels and penstock pipes down the hillside to the main 1035 megawatt powerhouse at Abargudda. It became the backbone of Karnataka's grid for decades. Sharavati Pumped Storage Project. Karnataka has initiated plans for a massive 2000 megawatt pumped storage project at the Sharavati complex. This will allow excess daytime solar power to pump water back from Gerusappa Reservoir into Lingarmakki, Talakalale to be reused for evening peak demands, effectively making both plants high capacity energy storage systems. Karnataka Power Corporation Limited KPCL. Karnataka became a pioneer in structural power reforms in 1970 by establishing the Karnataka Power Corporation Limited KPCL to separate generation from distribution long before other Indian states. Renewable energy in Karnataka. Today, Karnataka consistently leads India states in total installed renewable capacity, wind, solar, and small hydro, making up to 50% of its energy mix. The current focus has shifted towards pumped storage hydro projects like Sharavati Pump Storage and battery storage to handle grid stability. Pavgada Solar Park Shakti Sthala. This is neither a hydroelectric power plant nor it is near Jog Falls. It is a solar photovoltaic, that is solar PV power plant. The reason we have mentioned it here is that the electric power generation from solar PV will be used at Sharavati Hydroelectric to pump the water from the low level to high level for transferring water at low level basin to high level reservoir at Linganmakki. The electrical power source for driving the motors coupled to the pumps would be Pavgada Solar Park or similar solar PV projects. Built in Tumkaru district in 2018 on 13,000 acres of leased drought-prone farmland, it reached a capacity of 2050 megawatt, briefly standing as the largest solar park in the world. Karnataka's current electrical power demand. The current electrical power demand in Karnataka is 18.7 gigawatt. Current, that is 2026 electrical power, peak demand in Karnataka is 18,700 megawatt. How it is met? Solar, ground roof mounted, and Pavagada Park 7,500 to 8,500 megawatt. Wind power 2,000 to 3,500 megawatt. Hydroelectric 2,000 to 3,000 megawatt. Thermal 4,500 to 5,500 megawatt. Short term purchases 500 to 1,400 megawatt. Electric power demand future. In 1966, the total actual peak demand of Karnataka was less than 500 megawatt. When the Sharavati hydroelectric project came online with its massive 1035 megawatt capacity, rolled out in stages through the mid 1960s, its output was more than double the entire state's demand. The demand for electric power has been increasing every year. The present era is widely considered as the artificial intelligence AI era. AI era took off around 2012 with deep learning breakthroughs and accelerated dramatically with generative AI tools like ChatGPT in late 2022. AI requires a massive amount of electrical power to run specialized computer chips, power giant data centers, and cool the hardware. The current picture on electricity production in Karnataka, or for that matter in India, would witness a massive growth in electrical power supply. Presently, Sharavati Hydroelectric meets 10% of Karnataka's total electricity demand. You may not see the power plant, but you can see reservoirs when you visit Jog Falls. Do visit Jog Falls. In the meantime, watching Jog Falls will refresh you to some extent. Over to Jog Falls. Jog Falls. Jog Falls is a Kannada movie released in 2004. Just as the glorious cascades of Raja, Roarer, Rocket, and Rani flow ceaselessly to create a timeless spectacle at Jog Falls, the filmmakers of Jog Falls have brilliantly harnessed the same natural energy to deliver an endless stream of laughter. Naming the movie on Karnataka's ultimate water wonder is a masterstroke of creativity. As waterfalls transform into a bubbling river flow naturally, the movie transforms the water flow from roaring joke falls into a bubbling stream of wit and humor, the joke falls. What makes the film even more special is that it was shot right amidst the lush, serene environment of the falls itself. For anyone who has Joke Falls sitting high on their travel bucket list, watching Joke Falls in the meantime offers the perfect prelude. Sitting back in your living room or a movie hall, you get a soak in the scenic beauty of the region while enjoying non-stop laughter, a wonderful way to experience that same rejuvenating magic until you get to stand before the roaring cascades in person. A note for non Kannada readers. While official subtitled versions of Joke Falls are currently hard to find on streaming platforms, the film is an adapted remake of the Hindi classic Chupke Chupke 1975. Those familiar with the Hindi original will easily follow every hilarious twist, making it accessible to comedy lovers anywhere. Just as a biological mother gives birth and nurtures her child with milk, a river nurtures human civilization with water and food. Sharavati River also provides light through electricity. She is therefore fondly called Sharavati Mata. a poem dedicated to Sharavati Mata. Poetry is the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. It takes its origin from emotion recollected in tranquility. Those are the words of the great English poet William Wordsworth. He meant that poetry starts with strong inner emotions, but it is written down later when the mind is calm. With the memory of my 1966 visit, I went to Jog Falls this time. Though I saw less in this visit, my mind was full of many different thoughts with a feeling of reverence towards Sharavati Mata. To recap what I already presented, I wrote a small poem of 20 lines when my mind was calm. Please read and listen to the poem.
The hidden light of Sharavati Mata. From rivulet to brook, from stream to cascade, through dams and confluences softly made, I gather my strength, then fearlessly call in Raja, Roarer, Rocket, and Rani's fall. Small river, 128 kilometers long, yet I plunge a quarter-kilometer deep with a roaring song. You stand in awe at my thunderous grace, captivated by the beauty upon my face. Prabhu Rama's arrow drew my water for Sita's thirst. Today, hear the hardship of your Sharavati Mata first. Spare a few words for what lies out of sight, for the hidden sacrifice that gives you light. Like the selfless service of sage Dadichi's bones, I rush through dark penstalks and tunnels of stones. I drive turbines and generators with my kinetic energy, speeding through narrow passages to form true synergy. More than one tenth of Karnataka's power I yield, lighting up every home, road, industry, and field. Then pass the final dam gates, my purpose complete. My journey steals into the mighty ocean water I meet. Composed by Sunil C. Karandikar.
रुख से जरा नकाब उठा दो मेरे हुजूर जलवा फिर एक बार दिखा